Hi, everybody. My name is Alma Davenport, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about Nina Foxx's play, Just Short of Crazy. I want to talk about what the play is about, and also a little bit about the characters and what we're looking for as we begin to cast the show. So, Just Short of Crazy is a piece about, well, on the surface, what it looks like is a light-hearted comedy about a woman who becomes interested and then involved with a man who has a lot of baby mama drama issues. But if you look at it closer, it's a piece about two women. And what they're trying to do is figure out what it is that they need in life to feel happy and satisfied, especially as it pertains to love and relationships.
You did this to me on purpose. You knew how important this was to me.
Was I thinking about that when I wrote the book? I don't think so. I think what I was actually thinking about was how your experience shapes your expectations. Someone said to me that they had, because of where they'd grown up, they were totally different than they were than their relatives. And I thought about that. I'm like, were you really? Because they may have grown up somewhere else, but it still shaped who they were. I remember being in college and grad school, and we talk about the motivations of the writer. It's like, oh, the writer was thinking this and the writer was thinking that. And I still say, I don't know how that can be, because as a writer, I don't always know what I'm thinking. I knew that I wanted to write a book about really the same person from two different sides of the tracks and how that affected them. Now, when we translated that to stage, it presented an interesting thing, because stage makes you have to strip away everything that you think, all the backstory in a book that you can have meandering between your lines, that you can't, there's no place to meander on the stage, and you have to put it in the hands of your actors. So working with Alma, it really made me think about, well, what would this woman do if this happened to her? And because she was different than, say, her foil, their reactions would be different. But for one of them, at their core, was that same basic upbringing, that toughness that only growing up in the hood gives you, and it makes you really focus on how similar these two women's journeys are, but still very different. So, like, at the bottom of it, we're all the same. We all want the same thing. We all want happiness, and that's what Just Short of Crazy is about. Now, in terms of casting, that was interesting, because one of the things for the table reading, you had just a bunch of people reading the lines that I wrote on the page. So that's interesting. It's like talking heads, because when I said I had a character say, "Nah mean," when I say "nah mean," you know what I mean. But we had people read that like "nah mean," "nah mean," all sorts of ways that didn't make any sense to me. And I was like, oh no, we have to definitely focus on the casting for this. And the chemistry between the actors is really important too. And that was something that was interesting to watch as we had people read in the auditions and read together. And I think all in all, I'm pretty happy with some casting choices, mostly local talent, but phenomenal talent.
You should have kept Walter. Now that was a good man. You really need to.
Alexis is the protagonist. She is smart. She is an attorney. She is spry. She is no nonsense. But underneath that exterior, that no nonsense exterior, is somebody who is still, very vulnerable. She just got left.
Who's my favorite character? I think my favorite character is Angel. We actually cast a young man that participated in the reading for the role of Angel, and he was like a real breath of fresh air. Angel is the crazy, stereotypically gay hairdresser, which is really funny because my hairdresser is none of those things. But he has license to say all the things that your crazy aunt would say, but he's not obligated to hold his tongue at all. He says those funny things that your grandmother would say to you that make you get it right. At one point, he actually says that he has an old black woman trapped inside of him, and he's just the comedic release, but he is the truth. So I think Angel is my favorite. I'm looking.